Just recently, we signed an MOU for a advanced mobility. Oklahoma is already number one in the country in drone readiness. I think Arkansas is number 2 or 3. So together, we're developing this corridor between our two states where we're inviting all the tech companies to study what does drone looks like, what do unmanned vehicles look like. Our universities are focused on that. The only place you can get a PhD right now at Oklahoma State University is in unmanned aircraft is at Oklahoma State. So by creating that corridor between our two states, we're letting everybody know that this is the future, and we want them located here in Oklahoma and Arkansas.
USDC, who, when the sanctions came out, they actually stopped taking those transactions. Circle is a U.S.-based company and takes U.S. customers and is governed by the U.S. government. Tether is not a U.S.-based company and does not accept deposits or customers from the U.S., and therefore they're under a slightly different jurisdiction. But that's what raises a really interesting point here, which is this new technology, blockchain in general, and the way it's being used is to do financial transactions on a global level. This has never been possible before. So before the advent of technology, all the uses of currencies, for the most part, was ring-fenced within a country and much easier for governments to control and to regulate. However, now that these technologies are there to make transactions global, almost instant, almost free, it's very difficult for the governments of the world to control how they're used.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have Tether doing what it wants to do. And remember, guys, I told you that crypto is global. But we saw BitMEX, which had nothing to do with the U.S. The U.S. still came down on them. And that's not the only company. And we know they can definitely consider this as money laundering. And we hear the Oklahoma governor on drones. Guys, we know that they're getting ready for the 4th Industrial Revolution. Oklahoma and Arkansas signed an agreement. But we know right now, what are they going to tell us? Oh, this is going to create so many jobs. We know how many jobs it's going to take. Yes, the higher paying jobs, you may have one man manning the system. He may get paid a lot of money, but he put thousands out of work. Just imagine when Walmart came, how many mom and pops disappeared. And now the prices are just as high. The same way when you look at Lowe's and Home Depot. And guys, we have Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow at Jackson Hole. And all the Fed presidents say that Jerome needs to keep the foot on the gas. So we know they're going to keep raising rates, running off this balance sheet. And a lot of people think the Fed is going to pivot because they're like, if you keep raising rates and run off this balance sheet, you're going to crash the economy. Guys, that's exactly what they want to do. They have to destroy this legacy market on a global scale. They have to bring the people to their knees in order for them to accept the robots, algorithms, and drones. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Interest rates, that was when I started Barron Capital, 1982, 800 on the Dow Jones, now 32,000. But if you go back to World War I, in 1918, we had the Spanish flu. We like to call things Spanish flu, Chinese flu. We never blame someone else all the time. But there was inflation, and we ended a war. And then the stock market, then you had the Roaring '20s. And in 1945, you ended World War II. And the next 3 years, you had inflation, higher interest rates. Debt was higher than the size of the economy. And the stock market, and then we started the Marshall Plan, 1949 to 1955. The stock market tripled. Then you had 1982. Of course, that was following the Vietnam War. You had a lot of inflation, high interest rates, and what happened? The Dow Jones went from 800 to 32,000. So, do I tell you that the market is going to? So everyone is so short term. Everything is so short term. So Elon Musk says that the people who are most likely to be successful are the people who have long-termism, who think about things long term, not now, and are optimistic. And then he says, and what you really need is people who have infinite time horizons, not tomorrow, not next quarter, infinite time horizons. So, he may not get to Mars, but he's certainly investing so he can, or people are planting trees, not necessarily because they're going to sit under them, but because other people will enjoy them. So I think that The idea here is that every single time there's been a financial panic, there's been a war, there's been a COVID, an economic, uncertainty, chaos. Whenever these sort of things happen, the government steps in every democracy that's ever existed and devalues our currency. And the way they do that, the reason they do it is because they want to take care of their citizens. They want to get reelected, of course. And then they want to protect them. And they want to make the economy grow faster. And then to get out of the debt. This is not unplanned where we have this inflation now. This is planned. It's planned to make the debt worth less relative to the size of the economy and the economy to grow faster. It's a plan. And it always has been. And so what happens is we're investing in growth companies. So the growth companies are our hedge against inflation. No, we're not investing in commodities or Bitcoin or gold. We're not doing any of that. We're just investing in companies growing more than the economy. The economy grows 6 or 7% a year, 2 or 3% real, 4 or 5% inflation. Inflation, you go back, look up in Google, go back as far as you can, and everything over my lifetime is 4 or 5% a year, not 2%. 4 or 5% a year. Government will tell you it's 2%, but it's 4 or 5%. Everything doubles in price every 14 or 15 years. Your house, your tuition, your car.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.